Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And let me say thank you to our witnesses for being here this morning. The Science Committee, perhaps more than any other committee, is where we lay the groundwork for long-term economic growth and prosperity. It is here where we make a decision to continue or to cede the U.S. leadership in science and technology. It is here where we make the decision to plant the seeds for the fruits of U.S. science to grow into new companies and jobs, improved health, strengthen national security, and improved quality of life for all Americans. The 2005 Rising Above the Gathering Storm report was a call to action that brought us all together in this common cause. Democrat and Republican Congress and the administration. In 2007, Congress enacted the America Competes Act with an overwhelmingly bipartisan majority. That bill set 3 of our agencies, NSF, NIST, and DOE's Office of Science, on a doubling path, and it created a very successful ARPA-E. Unfortunately, as we all know, the vision of Competes was not fully realized. Across-the-board cuts, magnified by all the budget uncertainty over the last few years, are causing deep and, in some cases, irreparable harm to our leadership in S&T. Last week, Republican Senator Lamar Alexander, one of the champions of the original Competes Act, testified before his colleagues during a hearing on reauthorization of the Competes Act. He said there are plenty of things that we do that are less important than this if we want to keep a high standard of living. Senator Alexander went on to urge his colleagues to authorize what our goals should be. I can't agree more. This is not the time to be timid. This is not the time to send a clear message to the appropriators of our priorities as authorizers. While all of the feuding about the budget goes on around us, the Science Committee is one place where we should be able to agree more than we disagree. We did so successfully for many years, even during divided government. It is my hope that we someday can do this again. I have been troubled by the occasions over the past year where that spirit of bipartisanship has broken down and where science has at times seemed to be under siege. We need to get back to the approach of legislating that has served this committee well for many years, and certainly the 21 years that I've been on it. Unfortunately, the draft legislation before us today leaves me puzzled. For one thing, it appears to cede our responsibility as authorizers to the Appropriations Committee by leaving out the funding levels that we think are necessary to carry out the provisions of the bill. Perhaps more concerning are the policy directions in this bill. There are some provisions on which we can agree. However, it troubles me that this draft seems to be dominated in both tone and volume by everything that some of my colleagues believe the NSF and scientists are doing wrong, and contains very little in the way of a vision for the future. I am also confused by the draft strikes 2 sections of existing law establishing broadening participation as an important part of NSF's mission, when the changing of demographics of this country should make efforts to broaden participation in STEM. That's really a no-brainer. I worry that this discussion draft reflects a lack of imagination that will not help this nation meet the competitive challenge we face. A few weeks ago, I circulated a comprehensive Competes reauthorization draft bill that I hope captures the Competes principles laid out earlier this year by the scientific community. I'm in the process of gathering feedback and more ideas from stakeholders and Democratic members, and I welcome the witnesses' thoughts on my discussion draft. As we move forward, I would be very happy to work with the chairman and with all of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, as I've always done, to craft a bipartisan bill that truly sets a vision for continued U.S. leadership in science and technology. Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to all the witnesses for being here.